What is going on, guys? Sean Dunn coming back with a technical analysis. Here we have Michael Fay. He is a high school hammer thrower, love helping out the next generation. Michael just signed up for throws programming for what I presume to be the summer, which I'm excited to help him out. I'm able to, with the throws programming, I'm able to give him specific drills and exercises and hammers and all this stuff to throw to help fix his problems, which is great. It's a really good resource if you guys are looking for some off-season help. All right, so go check out my website, gripandrip.co. Check out the coaching services page, and yeah, whatever you need, throws programming, lifting programming, technical analysis, go sign up. All right, so let's get into it. Take a look at this throw. Michael sent me quite a few throws. It was good to get a good look at kind of what his throw looks like on average. And this is, to be fair, this is the worst looking throw that he sent me, and I think I chose that because it is going to be the best to kind of point out what goes wrong in his throw. It's by far the most drastic, but in all of the throws he sent me of recent practices, his low point orbit shifts a lot, shifting down this left side of the sector, throwing out of the sector. He said he had problems gauging a lot of hammers, so hopefully breaking this down will help you kind of fix these problems. Like I said, it's more drastic, so it'll be easier to hopefully highlight some of these things. So let's get into it and break it down. Starting at the back of the circle, we're going to give just one more watch just to see where I want to start with this. In the winds. Winds look okay. There's this disconnection between the hips and the shoulders, kind of forcing orbit a little bit, it looks like. But in the winds, starting at the back of the circle, facing the right side, pretty good. Hands out away from the body, turning back, catching the hammer pretty well. I like this stable kind of athletic position of the legs, maybe a little straight, but not a big deal. Second wind. So I think this is part of the problem. Second wind, ball comes around. You start to face the back of the circle more. You can start to see the hips face what would be 30, 45 degrees after zero, facing the back of the circle. Turn the shoulders back. Not quite as well as you do in the second turn, in the first wind, sorry. I got ahead of myself there. And could get a little bit more tension, like I said. Want to see this hammer wire a little bit more parallel to the ground. Like I said, the fact that it's kind of dropping on you means there's not quite tension or enough tension on the hammer. But then as you come through on entry, like I said, you're already kind of facing the back of the circle, so this left side kind of leads. You can see this left shoulder up a little bit. I see this a lot. It's a very common problem I see with a lot of throwers. Facing the back of the circle, leading it, and then it's like you kind of place the hammer out around the left side. And so this is what I'm talking about. Through here, pretty chill movement so far, but then it's from here until the ball goes left where you can see the problem with the hips. All right, so hammer's going through entry. Like, okay, not bad, and this is not bad until it gets through zero, not bad, but then you start to see your hips shift backwards. You start to see them sink away from the hammer. The ball goes left as the hammer goes right. I said that backwards. Hips go to camera view right as ball goes to your left. All right, camera view right there, camera view left that way. I'm so good with my words today. But either way, hips are shifting back from the ball as it goes left, speaking from your perspective. And that's, like I said, that's a big problem there. Like I said, it's like you try to place the hammer out around the left, but by doing so, you also shift the hips away, where in reality, or in theory, what I think needs to happen is the hips need to kind of stay where they are. You could stay a little bit more postured up, chest up, a little bit taller, and then you want to keep stability through this left side a little bit more as the hammer goes through zero. It's not bad, but then you can see it's this big shift back and settle down, and like you kind of see your hips sink down and forwards and towards the camera, where you need to keep a little bit more backwards lean in the torso, get a little direction on it. And then what you need to think about is as the ball goes left, you want to chase it with the right hip. You want to drive your right hip towards your hands, towards your hammer, towards the high point. You can pick whichever one you want, but as the ball goes around the left, you want to keep the right hip specifically connected to the upper body, towards, like I said, your hands, towards the high point. As the ball goes around the left, you want to see a little bit of pressure through this right leg backwards. Like I said, get a little bit of direction through the left side, so you can also push through the left side a little bit. Kind of rotate that left side back towards 180. but right side needs to get way more involved. You need to keep the hips towards the hammer, where, like I said, it's the hands go left and the hips go to camera view left, opposite directions of each other. All right, and that's where a big disconnection happens. And then from there, your hips are trying to play catch up, and they don't really quite do it. As you can see, the right leg is kind of a little bit behind. Kind of get more of a butt kick in single support rather than like an A skip. This position's not terrible. Left shoulder's a little bit up, but then you also have the tendency to step around as well because the right leg is a little bit behind. So rather than the right leg and right side kind of driving the throw, it's kind of reacting negatively to the throw where it's kind of behind the whole time. So then you catch, you step around rather than, like I said, there's no direction in this first turn. All right, you need to get a little bit more direction forwards. You need to feel the ball stretch forwards. You need to drop this left knee, step forwards with the right leg. Like I said, maybe get a little bit more A skip and step forward towards the hammer so you get a little direction that way. That will give you some tension on this first catch, because otherwise you catch, you step around, you almost over rotate. It looks like you almost step out of the circle, honestly. And that's where the big problem comes from. Like I said, your first turn, your entry, your hips aren't connected, and then you don't have that direction. You don't have the system set up appropriately. So then from there, catch over rotated. There's not much tension to the upper body, so the left side is going to pull more to keep tension with the hammer, because otherwise it doesn't feel stable. And then you can even see there's like this, your hips are still back on the catch as well too, where you need to get your hips more underneath you, get this knee out more over the toe, get your right hip more underneath you. Left heel comes down, and then at this point, that whole system's kind of set up down this, what would be left sector line already. So this is where your big problem. Like if you can fix this, your turns themselves aren't terrible. It's just your direction and your system is kind of set up wrong from the start. Left heel comes down, kind of not terribly late. It's just there's no tension here. Without tension, your body's going to kind of be behind when it comes to connecting to the hammer. So then you start to shift backwards towards the left sector line. Hips are back again. Hammer's going left, but hips and body are way back over the right, almost too much. Like I said, this big break in posture here, so we really got to do a lot of posture work. The hammer goes left, and like I said, you can see the body, rather than rotating to 180, you rotate back to 270. You can see the hips, the lower body rotating back to 270. Super late with the upper body, or with the body in general. And then you start to see the hammer go down. That left sector line, left shoulder is super high here. Once again, a sign of bad direction, where like this position right here needs to be more in the direction of 180. You're almost 45, 60 degrees late with everything. And that's because the hips aren't quite connected. If the hips aren't in the right posture, then everything's going to kind of be delayed when it comes to transferring energy into the hammer. You can even see this left foot, you don't really get down the toe until it's pointed towards almost 270. So this position right here, you need to be experiencing that as the ball's going towards 180. And then you rotate around drastically again. And now you have even less tension. So same thing is going to happen again. You can see the system of the hammer. At this point, it looks like you're literally throwing into the net. This would be a good position if it were rotated 90 degrees, like I said, in the direction of 180. This position is otherwise pretty good. Your hips finally start to get under you, but it's like way too late if you look at where you're trying to throw, unfortunately. And then from there, you see that right side get a lot more disconnected, a lot more wild with that right leg. Hips aren't underneath you, left shoulder's even higher. Catch. So you can see your path through the circle is like really wild down this the left half of the circle, when instead of it should be going down the middle at the very least, maybe a little bit towards the right sector, a little bit. But like I said, this is the drastic video, so like I'm really dramatizing things here. But yeah, left shoulder's up. It's kind of the same thing from here on out. You catch with no tension. Your left side's going to pull more to keep tension with the hammer. Hips aren't really quite connected. And then you get pretty wild, and then surprised that one didn't hit the net. But yeah, so like I said, this is the dramatized version. And so the biggest thing that you're going to have to work on is connecting the hips to the hammer, and then, like I said, facing the red a little bit more in the start. But like I said, just setting direction, setting the system, getting better posture, like I think is the biggest thing for you, connecting the hips to it. And then maybe working on that right leg a little bit more in single support, finding some direction and stuff in the entry. And it's a lot of stuff to work on at once, but like I said, we're going to take it day by day. And all the things that I programmed for you in this first program are going to help you out, hopefully. So yeah, but like once you get this first system set, once you get the first turn set, everything from there on out will be much easier, and you'll be throwing down the middle in no time, I think. All right, so like I said, your body's doing the right things. It's just way too late because your hips and your posture aren't great. I think once we get that cleared up, things will be good. All right, so let me know if you have any questions, Michael. Like I said, we're going to talk more, as we work through this programming together. And then if anybody else out there would like technical analysis, throws programming, coaching, whatever you need, go to gripandrip.co, check out the services page and sign up. Maybe get some merch while you're there, support the brand. Alrighty, so thank you for watching. Until next time, Sean Don, signing off.